Once vibrant hallways now stood vacant, whispers of anxiety floating in the air like a thick fog. Each classroom door was a portal to a new reality, where joy transformed into chaos. Desks once by the windows became barriers to the unthinkable. The chalkboard, a canvas for knowledge, morphed into a jarring reminder of fear, scratching at the very fabric of safety. Flashing images flicker like memories of a past left behind. A teacher's hand, shaking with rage, slamming a desk in frustration. A child's scream piercing the silence filled with panic, echoing in corridors that once held dreams. As shadows lingered in the corners, fluorescent lights buzzed and flickered, imbuing the atmosphere with an unsettling glow. The very air in the classroom grew heavy, saturated with tension as the haunting realization sank in. The safe haven of learning had become a battlefield of emotions. Questions lingered. How did it come to this? What once was an inspiring space filled with curiosity and wonder now wore the garb of sorrow, betrayal, and turmoil. It was a transformation that gripped hearts, shaking the foundation of what it meant to be a student. The striking contrast between the past and present painted a bleak portrait. School was to be the stage for friendships, imagination, and the blossoming of young minds. Yet an ominous shift had occurred, and the glimmer of hope was extinguished, leaving behind a narrative steeped in fear. The chalkboard still bore the marks of lessons learned, but the echoes of joy had been replaced with a haunting silence that demanded attention. As the story unfolds, it serves as a poignant reminder that not all journeys in life lead to safe havens. Sometimes they spiral into irreversible nightmares, where survival eclipses education and fear replaces enlightenment. In the dim light of an overcast sky, an old abandoned school building stands like a ghostly sentinel, its broken windows gaping like hollow eyes. Regrowth of nature entwines the structure, a stark reminder of days long gone, yet stories still echo within. Those foreboding dark clouds hover above, casting an ominous shadow over the twisted tales that linger in the very foundations of the site. Each quietly creaking floorboard reverberates with memories of youthful laughter silenced by time, and halls that once buzzed with life now whisper secrets best left unspoken. As we take a journey into the heart of this dilapidated structure, a sense of unease takes root. What began as a sanctuary for learning became an arena for dread. Peering through the jagged edges of shattered glass, one can almost envision the faces of students once filled with hopes and dreams, rendered pale with fear. They walked these halls seeking knowledge, yet for some, that path led them into darkness. Tales of teachers losing grip on control swirl around these walls. Educators who momentarily transformed from guides to tormentors, their actions leaving indelible scars on the souls of innocent learners. Vivid images flash through the mind as stories unfold. A student who vanished without a trace, leaving friends clutching onto the last memory shared in the classroom. A fading laughter echoing against cold, stale walls. The search for answers, fraught with uncertainty, transforms into hushed whispers about night classes, clandestine gatherings that should have never existed. These secret rendezvous hold a sinister energy, the promise of knowledge corrupted by ulterior motives. The air thickens with curiosity and dread as the impact of these dark tales descends upon the mind, leaving behind an unsettling urge to learn more. In this exploration, the line between nostalgia and horror blurs. Memories entwined with terror overwhelm the mind as questions arise. What truly happens in the shadows of education? What truths lie behind the doors long sealed? With each haunting step deeper into the heart of this abandoned school, the allure of answers mingles with the fear of uncovering something best left buried. It is a poignant reminder that behind every educational institution, regardless of its exterior charm, may lie a harrowing story waiting to be told. On a typical Tuesday in Ohio 2008, the hum of student chatter filled the history classroom. Mr. L, known for his engaging lessons, stepped into the room, but something was off. His usually composed demeanor faltered, revealing the cracks beneath the surface. As he paced, chalk gripped tightly in his hand. The students exchanged worried glances, sensing an underlying tension in the air. Little did they know, that day would unravel into a chaos they would never forget. His voice, once a steady stream of knowledge, now trembled with an unseen fury. The chalkboard became a canvas for his frustration, and in a moment of rage, he slammed a stack of textbooks down. The dull thud echoed ominously, a precursor to the storm that was about to unleash. Students, confused and frightened, stared wide-eyed as the words, "None of you will ever leave," echoed through the classroom, seemingly surreal, yet hauntingly real. It was no longer a mere lesson. It felt like the unveiling of a tempest. As tension escalated, a chair launched across the room, shattering the fragile veneer of normalcy. The classroom erupted into chaos with students screaming, some desperately pushing against the windows, trying to escape the nightmare that unfolded. This was not the Mr. L they knew, but a shadow of his former self consumed by an inexplicable rage. His laughter, twisted and eerie, rang out among the chaos, solidifying the surreal reality of the incident as if time itself had fractured in that harrowing moment. When authorities eventually pried open the door, they found Mr. L slumped to the ground, laughter bubbling from his lips, contrasting starkly with the tears and terror of his students. The air hung heavy with disbelief and fear, a chilling testament to a moment that reshaped their lives. In the aftermath, students grappled with the haunting memory of their teacher's breakdown, some even claiming to hear his ghostly shouts on quiet nights, echoes of madness reverberating through empty hallways, forever marking a boundary between the ordinary and the unthinkable. That day, comedy and tragedy danced on a delicate line, blurring the distinctions between education and intimidation in a single breath. Mr. L, first once a beacon of guidance, became a cautionary tale of despair. The classroom, once a sanctuary of learning, transformed into a haunting reminder that even the most trusted figures can falter, leaving lasting scars in the minds of those they once inspired. The scene was set in a typical Ohio classroom, where rows of desks were neatly aligned, a haven for young minds. Mr. L, Horsier, the beloved history teacher, was the conductor of this daily symphony. For over 20 years, he inspired curiosity and fostered learning. But on that fateful Tuesday in 2008, the air was thick with anticipation, and something unsettling lurked beneath the surface. As the classroom buzzed with the chatter of youthful exuberance, Mr. L walked in, his usual confident demeanor replaced by an uncharacteristic jitteriness. Eyes darting, he paced the front, his fingers gripping the chalk as if it were a lifeline. A ripple of unease flowed through the students, sensing the tension cloaked beneath the familiar facade. It was a moment that stretched, a mere heartbeat feeling like an eternity, and then it shattered. Suddenly, the unexpected erupted. Mr. L slammed books on the desk, the deafening sound slicing through the air. The grip on the chalk grew tighter, snapping it in half as he unleashed his pent-up frustration. Students exchanged horrified glances, their laughter turning to silence. They couldn't comprehend the severity of the moment. This wasn't just a teacher upset over a messy classroom. This was something altogether different. Voices shifted from whispered confusion to panic as he yelled, "None of you will ever leave!" The sinister proclamation echoed around the room. Desks began to fly, hitting walls with jolting thuds. The reality of the situation dawned on the students. This was not a drill nor a prank. Adrenaline surged as they sought escape, hearts racing amid cries for safety. Security arrived, the door was forced open, revealing a harrowing sight. Mr. L was on the ground, laughter ringing through the air, a stark contrast to the chaos he had just unleashed. The once powerful figure dwindled down to someone in need of help, taken away, leaving an empty, haunted classroom behind. For many students, the echoes of that day would linger like a ghost, particularly at night when shadows flickered and distant shouts filled their dreams. The aftermath was palpable. Friends leaned on one another, processing trauma in hushed tones. Some students reported nightmares. Others spoke of lingering dread as they walked past the vacant classroom, a palpable reminder of the day their reality twisted into something terrifying. The laughter that once echoed in that space was now replaced with silence, but the memory of Mr. L and his fateful snap would remain forever etched in their minds. In the quiet halls of a Texas school, the ink of a thrilling mystery begins to surface. It is 2012, and a seemingly ordinary night takes a chilling turn when a janitor stumbles upon the flickering lights of a classroom. The hushed whispers echo through the otherwise empty corridors, raising an unsettling question. What could possibly be happening behind that locked door? As he peers through the window, a sinister sight unfolds. Desks are meticulously arranged in a circle, their surfaces adorned with flickering candles that cast ghostly shadows. Within this eerie circle sits an enigmatic teacher, surrounded by 6 students whose identities replay like a broken record. This class shouldn't exist. The tension in the air thickens, and in that moment, the essence of something unnatural becomes palpable. When law enforcement arrives, the scene paints an even darker picture. The teacher, mismatched from reality, claims to lead a special night class, his voice barely above a whisper in the charged atmosphere. But reality bites sharply when investigators discover that he's no longer on the school's payroll. Who were these students? Anxieties mount as the stakes rise, and before answers can be unveiled, the supposed students slip away like shadows at twilight. Yet the most lingering aspect of the night unfolds in the aftermath. Left behind are notebooks, flimsy relics bearing eerie drawings of eyes, their meaning veiled in obscurity. Each page flipping reveals glimpses into lives shrouded in secrecy, an unsettling connection to something broader and more ominous. The presence of the eyes transforms every glance into an unsettling mirror, reflecting the curiosity and dread of those uncertain what they have witnessed. This spine-tingling mystery entwines itself back into the greater narrative. Previous events continue to tie into a fevered concern over concealed truths and identities that linger beyond the gaze of authority. The school, now a crossroads of uncertainty, harbors whispers of an existence patrolled by shadows, nudging detectives closer to the truth, urging the curious to look deeper. As the flickering lights pulse in rhythm with our apprehension, the night class that shouldn't exist raises more questions than it answers. What lurks beneath the guise of education? In the blurred lines of reality and illusion, one lingering thought remains. Some mysteries may never want to be found. Schools are revered as sanctuaries of knowledge, places where young minds flourish and creativity sparks. Yet within those walls that echo laughter and learning, shadows lurk. Stories untold, energies misplaced. The flickering lights illuminate not just desks and chairs, but unveil the eerie remnants of chaos left behind by moments when authority slips through fragile fingers. Imagine entering a classroom, greeted by rows of empty desks, each one a silent witness to the turbulence that unfolded. The air hangs heavy, charged with memories of a once thriving educational space now stifled. Teachers tasked with guiding futures have faltered, and their surroundings have transformed into unsettling reflections of their struggles. Eyes that once sparkled with curiosity now carry apprehension, as students grapple with the aftermath of unexpected turmoil. Some stories whisper through the hallways, tales of panic that escalated when a mentor lost grasp over a class that turned against them. The distortion of power, a profession rooted in trust, became a theater of fear. It is here that the dark potential of human emotions erupts, heightened by stress and frustration. On occasions, in the quietude of an empty room, the echoes of fallen authority resonate, leaving an indelible mark on those who bear witness. For some students, the scars run deep, woven into the fabric of their academic journey. Yet, the narrative doesn't simply end with the departure of a teacher's grip. Instead, it unveils a larger conversation about the environment within which education unfolds. The unrelenting pressure on educators, the pressures from institutions and society, create a cocktail of anxiety that can quickly lead to a disarray of emotions and responses. This, blended with the fresh energy and unpredictability of youth, can ignite an explosion, leaving everyone involved dazed and bewildered. As the bell tolls loudly once, marking a poignant shift, one must circle back to a haunting question as the screen blurs into darkness. Is control a mere illusion? In a world where students are increasingly voicing their opinions, asking for respect, and demanding understanding, the dynamics are shifting. It is imperative to engage in open dialogues, acknowledging the importance of trust within education, a fragile balance, teetering on the cusp of darkness. Remember, the next time you step into a classroom, allow the silence to speak and ponder the real state of power within those hallowed halls. Click on the subscription button for more school horror stories. And don't forget to join our community to comment your view on the story.